start off by talking about tip today. What is a tip? When should you leave a tip? What's a good tip to leave? Okay? So, we're talking about money when we're talking about tip, not like, hey, here's a tip, tie your shoes. Like, not that kind of tip, right? Not advice. So what are some instances where you would leave a tip? Talia. All right, so when you go to a restaurant and someone is serving you at the restaurant, you would leave them a tip. Thank you. Nick. Is there another example of people that you would leave a tip to besides just waiters and waitresses? Talia. Okay, so if you go to some place that is going to fix something for you, she gave the example of fixing a car, and they did a great job, and they were polite and quick, then you could give them a tip. Has anyone ever gone to a salon or a barber? Okay, so most people, if they're happy with their haircut, then they leave the barber or the salon artist, the hairdresser, a tip. Okay, absolutely, it depends on how good they do. And tips should depend on how good they do, okay? Now, we're going to focus on the main time you leave a tip, and that is when you go to a restaurant. If it is a sit-down restaurant and someone is coming to you and waiting on you, then it is expected that you leave a tip. Okay? It is not illegal if you don't. It is not illegal if you don't leave a tip. But, like, it's illegal if you don't pay your food bill, and you have to pay the tax, the sales tax, which is automatically added on there. You have to pay that. But if you don't leave a tip, then it's just considered really bad manners. And believe me when I say that if it's a restaurant that you go to often, that they will remember you as this person that does not tip. Okay? Yes. Well, we're going to get to that. So typically, there is a range of tip that you can give that is pretty normal. And that range is 15% to 20%. Now, 15% is kind of like the minimum tip that you really want to give. If you got your food and they did okay, then 15%. Okay? If this service, and I'm not talking about the food, because the waiter or waitress is not who makes the food, right? That's the kitchen, the cook, okay? If there were serious issues, then before you would leave less than a 15% tip, you should talk to a manager. And a lot of times when you go to a restaurant, someone will come around that's usually dressed a little nicer, and they'll say, "How was your meal this evening? Everything okay?" That's the manager, okay? And if you don't see that person, they're always there. You can ask for them. So you don't want to give less than 15%. And I know when I go out and I have really good service, I never have to wait for a drink, refill. They do a really good job with just being quick and always like right around anything that I need. Then I'll give 20% or more. But typically it's between 15 to 20%. Okay? So let's say that your food bill, so write this down in your notes. Your food bill is $26.58. And the service was just okay. It wasn't great. It was just okay. So we're going to leave 15%. Now, I want to know two things. I need to first figure out how much tip am I leaving? And then I also want to know what is my total bill. So the first thing that we're going to do is figure out how much tip I am leaving. So to figure that out, it's just like what we did yesterday when we were finding the percent of a number. We are going to find 15% of $26.58. What is going into my calculator? No, not 15. 0.15. So you have to write that percent as a decimal. 0.15. Good. All right. So that is what's going in your calculator, just like we did yesterday. That's why we practiced it. So go ahead and put that in your calculator, and you probably got 3.987, correct? Now, we can only have 2 digits after the decimal. So if we look, that would be 3.98. And some people are like, oh, 3.98. But we always want to round. So when we are rounding, we actually look at that third digit. The third digit is what lets us know, do we leave it the same or do we round up? And 7 tells you to round up. Okay? So this 9, we're going to add 1 to, so it's really going to be $3.99 for the tip. Okay? So $3.99 for the tip. But what I said was I didn't want to just find the tip. I also wanted to find the total. How do you think I would find my total bill then? Add what? All right, so add your food bill, which is $26.58, plus the tip that you're leaving, $3.99, and that is going to give you your total bill, which is $30.57. Good. We're going to do another example of this, but it's not any different. Different numbers, obviously, but not any different process, okay? You ready for another one that you want to try this one on your own? So again, this next one, I want you to find the tip, and then I want you to find the total. If your food bill is $63.94, and the tax that you're leaving is 20%. Let's say they were really good. So again, I want to know the tip. Sorry, I wrote tax. I want to know the tip, and I want to know the total. You never have to calculate tax on your own, so that's why we're not even going to bother with tax, okay? All right, let's see how you're doing so far. So the first thing is finding 20% of $63.94. So I changed my 20% to decimal form, which is 0.20, and then multiplied that times 63.94, and my calculator said 12.788. But it has more than 2 digits after the decimal, so again, I want to round to the nearest penny. This third number, the 8, is telling us to do what? Keep it the same or round up? Round up. So I'm rounding up this 8 to get $12.79 for my tip. Any questions about how to find the tip? Then our last step was to find the total. And what am I going to do to find the total? Add both what? All right, so we're adding the food bill and the tip together. So the food bill was $63.94. I'm adding on the tip of $12.79. Good, $76.73 is my total bill. Now, if you are ever planning on maybe working in a restaurant, would it make more sense to work in a restaurant where the food was really expensive or where the food was really cheap? Why would it make more sense to work someplace that was expensive? Because the tip is going to be bigger, right? Because you're finding a percent of the total bill. So if you go to an expensive restaurant, your total bill is a lot more than if you go someplace pretty cheap. Okay, McDonald's, we don't have to tip anybody. Chick-fil-A, we don't have to tip anybody. Texas Roadhouse is kind of in the middle. Like Cheddar's, I think of Cheddar's when I think of but I mean, But those are lower, right? Tumbleweed, those kind of places. Ponderosa. Now, if you go someplace like over in Louisville, there's some really, really fancy places that you got to dress up and everything, and like your bill just for you might be like $100 just for you. So you have 4 people there, your bill might be $400 or $500 for the 4 people. I don't like those kind of places personally, but if I was going to be a waiter or waitress, I would want to work in one of those kind of places, right? You had to be kind of more prim and proper, but I would totally want to do it because I would make more money. All right, let's talk about commission real quick. Has anyone ever heard of commission? Commission? Do you know what it is, Jenna? You don't remember what it is? So commission is kind of like a bonus. And typically the people that earn a commission are like salespeople. I'm going to put salesman, okay? We know that it could be a man or a woman. I'm just putting salesman instead of salespeople. But usually people will get a certain amount of money either per week or per month. And then they also earn a certain percentage commission on how much they sell. And then that's how they figure out how much money total they earn for the month. So let me give you an example. Let's say that a car salesman makes $300 per week. So the car salesman is going to make $300 per week whether he sells a car or he doesn't sell a car. He could sell 10 cars or he could sell 0 cars. He's going to get $300 regardless. Okay? But he also makes, so plus a 6% commission on his sales. And let's say that he sold a really nice car last week for $35,000. So the salesman's not making $35,000. The car dealership is making $35,000 for that car. What the salesman is going to get is 6% of how much he sold. Okay? So he's getting $300 plus the 6% of this amount. So what do you think we should do first here? All right, so we can start off by turning 6% into a decimal. What is 6% as a decimal? How many zeros? 1 0. 2 places, so 0.06. Now what? Good, so I'm finding 6% of this number here. That's how much he sold. So 0.06 times 35,000. So let's figure out how much money, that's his bonus. $2,100. So for selling this car, the car dealership is saying, good job, buddy. Here's $2,100 for selling that car. That would encourage you to sell things, wouldn't it? If you were getting a commission. That's the whole reason there is commission. It encourages people, it motivates people to really sell things. Now, how much total would this salesperson get? How would I figure out what his total paycheck is? Because the $2,100 was just his commission, his bonus. Adding what? Good. So remember this $300 that he got regardless of what he sold. And now he got this bonus of $2,100. So $300 plus $21 or $2,100 is $2,400. So he had a good week. Now think about a week that if he didn't sell anything, he'd only get $300. That's a big difference. So it's kind of scary when you have commission and you depend on that commission. Okay? Do you want to do another one of these, or do you want to go ahead and get your assignment?